duck under the water, your feet are like going crazy, like trying to stay afloat, right? It's insane. Yes. So yeah, I mean, that's a big deal. So you say usually influencers that have at least 6, how many followers or more?
At least we try. So basically there's 2 types of talent.
Yeah.
We try to work individually with ones that have 100,000 and more.
Okay, a 6-figure influencer.
Yes.
That should be a new thing. The 6-figure follower influencer.
Bro, they're worth a lot.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell me about this, because you know, in a generation where people can put like fake likes or followers, how do you verify they got these real followers?
Bro, this is an incredible question. Okay?
Yeah.
Because this is the challenging part in our industry, because it's all glamour and beautiful and whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you guys will realize that it's all fake. Okay? Everyone fakes it.
Yeah.
Most of the people fakes it.
Yeah.
Likes are fake, comments are fake, views are fake, engagement is fake. In many
is fake too.
Many cases.
I would have thought he was gonna say you just look at the engagement is fake.
It's really easy and cheap to fake engagement.
Wow. I mean, I've heard of fake likes. I've heard of fake followers.
Fake views.
But wow.
I think I just read a story about the government having to shut down some type of spies. They had like these fake groups and all that. They were going to influence the election, so they ended up shutting them down. They had like all these different types of groups and profiles.
Hackers
that have all these things?
Yeah.
So that's a big thing now.
Well, isn't what Donald Trump won the election with?
What
was it?
Oh
Analytica?
I forgot what was it called. But let's start here for a second. What is the name of your business? I don't think you introduced that during your bio.
Yeah. So it basically it's called Fan Stories.
Yeah.
It's a creator platform built to help creators monetize.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of combine the power of Patreon. I don't know if you know Patreon, or let's say OnlyFans, okay?
Yeah.
Obviously, we're not in the OnlyFans content category.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we do similar stuff. Exclusive content, behind the scenes, paid messages. And we combine this with Linktree, with all of the links, right?
Okay.
And we have both combined underneath one platform.
Okay.
That's pretty neat, man. I mean, that's the next big thing. I mean, I think it's affecting dating too. Like these platforms are affecting dating because if you got OnlyFans or platforms like this where someone can monetize off the platform, why would you regular date anyway? I mean, if you can make money from home,
you know what I think it is?
I think it has affected it in a way. I'm not saying it's either good or bad, but
yeah,
like if I was a female, I could make 6 figures from home.
Oh man, yeah, for sure.
yeah.
And why would I go on a regular date? That's why you see all these things where the females don't want to go to Shoney's, they don't want to go to Ruby Tuesdays and all this. Like, man, it's affected the whole game.
We have to go to the 5-star restaurants now.
I think social media created more narcissists than
anything. God. This is crazy.
Oh my goodness. In what way? Elaborate a little bit.
I'm brand new. Matter of fact, I just found my first renter last Thursday after sweating a whole bunch of bullets on a house that I closed on the end of April. And I guess I'll say I joined this group because, Tony has helped me get started and go on the way. And my ambition is to start a real estate business, not just buy houses. And my goal is to be able to retire early. So I love the term mailbox money. I've never heard that before. I think I heard you say that a couple times, Tony. So yeah, that's my goal. I want a whole bunch of mailbox money. I want the mailbox full. Because, this work thing is not, I don't see myself going another 25 years or so, which is when I officially would retire. So yeah, nice to meet everyone. I guess I'll just be listening because all I got is newbie stuff to contribute. Newbie mistakes.
I mean, I'm so proud of you because you came into the game and you talked about what you were going to get, came in, and you conquered it. You got your project, you finished it, and you got a renter. So that's huge. So congratulations on that. New
Thanks.
On the way.
Yes. I even had to go find the mailbox. UPS. Yes.
Just realized I was on mute. I'm back. Antonio Smith, the Cellionaire, here live on another Thursday night live stream, coming to you live and direct with the real estate content that you need to succeed. This is it right here. This is it right here. We're excited. We have a great show lined up for you guys tonight. We've been talking about asset-based investments, and we have an expert on the line tonight that's really going to break it down. He has a long career in helping people just like you. It's going to help our members as well understand what asset-based properties are, how you can buy them, how you can utilize them, how you can leverage them as well while you're building wealth in real estate right now. Because the whole game for you is to figure out ways to start building wealth in real estate where you could actually leverage your time, your income, your strategy, and be able to start doing the things you want. But if you don't know how to do it, you could be losing out time doing it the wrong way. So we're going to be breaking that down for you tonight on how to start leveraging asset-based properties. Now, many of you out there, you call me all the time, you're thinking about wholesaling. What is wholesaling? How do I flip the property? How do I renovate it? And how do I even get my feet in the door to start building a passive income stream of income for myself and my family? Now, I tell you, it's two options that you must use and understand to get started. You're going to either use your credit or you're going to have to use someone else's asset in a way to start building your way into the game. Like if you're wholesaling, you're going to have to help a lot of people make money in the business, giving them properties that they can earn money on. You're going to have to sell something. Maybe you're a real estate agent. You're going to have to sell some properties to get some of the down payment or the full amount to get your properties. But also as an investor, there's a way that you can get these properties based on the value of the asset itself. Many times you go out and you get hard money loans and you think that it's all about your credit. Many times these lenders will look at the asset that you have and help you get the funding for that project based on the asset itself. Like I've used it over the years. I bought multiple properties that I either have renovated and used as leverage or kept for my own portfolio. And sometimes as an investor, you get tapped out on funds. Maybe your funds are held up in a deal or two, and you may need a little bit more time to get the deal together. And you may come across a crazy good deal, and you're like, "Whoa, I need to get the funding for this." So it's worth paying a lender or a hard money lender to get the job done. Like I've had it happen before. I had a big project. It was a multifamily unit, about 24 units, and I had put everything into it. And I thought this was going to be the one. This was a great deal and everything, which was a great deal. But all of a sudden I came across another deal that was just as good. And I was like, man, I need to get the funding together. And the thing about it, I had just bought a car, which is like, so I had bought a car for cash. And I was like, man, you know what? I can buy a lot of these cars if I get the right deal. So I ended up taking that car back, getting my money. I lost a little bit on the depreciation of the asset, but you got to do what you have to do to get the funding sometime for these projects. And as members, you have access to our membership course that basically gives you step-by-step strategy and outline and blueprint of what you have to do on a daily basis to start building wealth in real estate. Because most people don't have a blueprint. They don't have any direction or mentorship. And someone like myself, I charge a lot per hour. So it's like one-on-ones can be very complicated. So that's why we put together the membership strategy to where it's more of an intimate situation where you have lifetime access to the course. You have my time and for my time and my coaches as well. We meet up, we do masterminds as well. And all you got to do is click on the link inside of the comment section to watch our free masterclass that's going to explain to you what you need to start doing to start building wealth in real estate. So once you build that and watch that masterclass, is going to show you a lot of the different things that you may be thinking are tough. We're going to simplify it for you. Because most of the time you have anxiety level because you don't understand how it works. And once you start understanding and educating yourself on how it works, that anxiety go down, your blood pressure goes down. You don't have to take those lisinopril pills or overdose on those every night to get your blood pressure down. Your anxiety go down, blood pressure go down, all that. I'm not a doctor, so, ask your doctor if that's what you got to do. But your anxiety is one of those things that most of the time when you're invested in something new, it goes up because you don't have to understand it. So make sure if you're not a member yet and you're on this call that you hop in the training that we have and watch the free masterclass. The link is in the comment section here where you can log right in. So I'm excited. I'm excited tonight. If you're in the house, I want you to say, I'm in the house. I'm in the house. Tap it in the comment section. I'm in the house. In the house. In the house. We're live. We're live tonight. I'm in the house. If you're in the house, let me know you're in the house. I see you guys out there. You're in the house. We're in the house. Because we got a great guest tonight. Ernest is in the house. What's up, Ernest? How you doing? I see you out there. Ernest is in the house. Mr. Larry Hall is in the house. A new member all the way from Texas that's really been really focused, and he's been very excited. We're excited to have him as part of the team all the way from Texas, and he shared his story last week. It was very, very powerful, and that's why I like to bring members in so you can share your story, we get to understand it, because many times you think you're alone in these scenarios, and when you share your story, you're actually helping other people as well. Like he was mentioning that he invested in cryptocurrency and he lost over like $20,000-$50,000 at one point. And I was like, man, a lot of people are doing that. There's some people that are making money in cryptocurrency, depending on what it is. I don't understand cryptocurrency. I understand real estate. So I can show you how real estate works. And I can look at the numbers based on 6 months, 12 months, and it'll give me an idea of my investment. Like I definitely don't have time to be looking at a computer and stocks all day. Now there's people that make money in that. Nothing against that. But it's wins and losses when you're investing. That's just the way that it is. But he was able to courageously share his story and also help a lot of people out as well from sharing his powerful story. So we thank him for doing that. We are excited to work with him as well as he builds his portfolio in the real estate game. As well. Big Ernest out there in Chicago. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, Ernest? Ernest has gotten in the game. He had an amazing story as well about being away for years and just coming back with so much confidence and being able to redeem himself as far as like a great member of society, investing in real estate, learning, and putting in the work and the commitment of what it takes to actually start winning in any business. You got to make an investment in yourself. That's the first thing you want to invest in is you. If you're not investing in you, who's going to invest in you? You got to invest in yourself first. And that's what you're doing here, being a part of this call, what we're doing weekly for our members. We're live. We have a mastermind every Wednesday night where you can tap in with me and some coaches, and we help you look at your deals, see if it's a good deal or a bad deal, whatever it is. And we basically help you win and start making the right investments in the real estate game. So it's very important that you get the right coaching and the right team in place, and you're building your team as you dream and move forward as well. So tonight, I'm excited. Our guest is Mr. Dean Tillman. He's been in the game for over 20 years. He's a lender as well. And it's going to be helping a lot of you guys understand what asset-based investment properties are. And it's very important that you understand what an asset-based property is, because sometimes you may not have the credit, you may not have the time, but you may not have the understanding. Because I know when I got back into real estate, I was pretty much starting over again, because I had a business that kind of went under, and I had to lay off employees. I had to start something new, try something different. And so I was starting over. I hit my credit, so I didn't have my 800 score at the time. So I had to learn a way. And we learned how to do wholesaling. That worked. Then we started buying our own properties. After that, we started building our own portfolios. Then we started using asset-based opportunities to start streamlining and helping us grow our asset base as well. So it's all about understanding where you are in the real estate game. So we have another amazing guest here tonight. It's really quick. We're going to bring her up. That she's been having she has an amazing story. And it's so funny that she knew my mom years ago, growing up. So she's like family. And she knew me as a kid, actually. And her name rang out in my household as a kid. And just amazing how she saw me as I'm older now, doing real estate. She reached out to me and was like, hey, can you help me? Because I'm doing real estate. And I was like, I would love to help you do real estate. You know what I mean? I could love to help you. And hearing her story, she had some deals. She told me she had like contracts. She had over like 13 or 14 contracts. None were closing. And I'm like, that's pretty common for wholesalers. You get good at getting under the contract, but you're not good at finding cash buyers. But it's okay. I can help you. So we did a coaching call. And we changed some things around, changed some pictures around, changed the description around a little bit. And lo and behold, she got the deal under contract, got multiple cash buyers on the deal. It's under contract right now. And it's amazing to see her start, winning even more in the game, in the culture. And I look at her as family, because she knew my moms, she knew my sisters, my brothers, she knew them all. And I feel honored to be able to come back around 360. Someone that knew me as a kid, and help her and be a part of what she's doing right now. So that's amazing. So let me bring you up real quick, Miss Leslie. What's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing good. Sorry it took me a minute to get in. I had to go and get this and get that, and Lord have mercy, I'm like, what is this? But I'm here. Hey, how you doing, darling? How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for taking the time to hop in here. I know I kind of put you on the spot, but hey, that's what makes us. Sometimes we got to be put on the spot. You know what I mean?
I know, right? Just right?
Little pressure. A little pressure is good for you. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm excited to be working with you. And every time I hear your story as well, because you're out in the Jacksonville area, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I want you to share your story. Like, I know you've been doing real estate for a while, and you've been having some ups and downs. So kind of share your background, what's been happening, and where things are now. And I'm gonna hop in there and talk to you about what we talked about as well, about your deal. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay. Well, my name is Leslie, and I've been doing this a little bit over a year. I've been getting a lot of contracts, but no closing. And so then I reached out to I call him my brother. Yes. And Jody, I'm like, okay, that's what he's doing. Okay, so let me reach out to him. And I see he has success with it. So I just decided to reach out to him, and he was able to help me just, by me reaching out to him, and little things that he told me, I did it, and boom. And then it's like, okay, I redid everything what he told me to do. And then I got the buyer, was like, okay, yes. So now the thing that I'm ran into now, after doing everything, and we thought we were, going in to close the deal and everything, and then one of the nuisance liens came up, $9,800. So it's like, oh my gosh, you want to close this deal already, right?
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at now, but it's challenging, but it's so worth it. I know once I get through it, you learn through this or whatever, and but once I get through it, I know I'm going to be good and successful in it or whatever, and starting to turn these contracts into actually closings. Yeah. So that's where I'm at now, because I'm still, of course, working, a full-time job, with this, but I want to do this full-time and buy my time back and stuff. So that's why I'm reaching out to my little brother.
Yes. Wow. I love it. Because so many new members, they start off part-time or full-time. Like I have several members, they'll start off, they're working a full-time job, but they see the opportunity and they want to carve out. I tell people to carve out your wealth time during your off time, and then your prime time is your regular time. So the time that you have off, you need to carve a time out to focus on your business so that you can work yourself off that job.
Right.
So what has been the biggest challenge for you working full time and doing this? Because I know you've been doing this for a year.
Yeah, the time, because when I work from 9 to 6, so getting off at 6 and then trying to call people, and they're getting off, and then of course in the morning time before 9 o'clock, that's not going to work,
Yeah.
and then trying to do it on an hour lunch, that's not going to work, My lunch is at 3 o'clock from 3 to 4, so that's not a good time for other people. So
Yeah.
the biggest challenge is the time. Yeah, with working a full-time job. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think most people have that challenge, and sometimes it seems like as soon as you find an opportunity, your job just becoming even more pressure because maybe they'll give you a little bit of raise, and you're like, or maybe they'll like increase your hours in a way, and you're like, well, wait a minute, what are you guys trying to do? You trying to like force me
right? Okay,
to do my business?
Right.
It's like somebody told them you're trying to start a business and win over here. Like
exactly.
Everything changes.
Right.
So the dynamics change a bit. So you've been able to like really carve into finding your niche as a wholesaler, and you're really good at getting them under contract. So time to time, even once you get them under contract, get your cash buyer, some challenges are going to come up. And I say the bigger the challenge, the bigger the check. Yeah. And in this scenario, our goal is to help you get your first sale, because once you get your first sale, it's like it changes everything. It's like you're in Willy Wonka land. You're like, all this chocolate around me, right. Like, whoa, it's possible. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now you're like, wow, I can do this, because once you say to yourself and give yourself permission that you can do this, everything changes for you.
Right.
So here's a scenario where you are, because you're right in the middle of this. The cash buyer is ready to close, is under contract and everything, and things are going to come up. Like maybe you'll find a lien on the property or something like that. This has happened multiple times in scenarios and contracts that we've done over the years. So it's 3 things that you want to do in cases like this. And sometimes I'll even pay for the title work to speed it up, so I'll know and get ahead of it. That's one. If you're willing to do that, pay up front. I'll have a title company pull it for me, so I'll know ahead of time what to start working on.
Right.
And then the next thing, because sometimes the title company will take 7 to 10 days, depending on the backload of the lawyer, and you may not know. You may think you're closing earlier than that, and the cash buyer is ready, but you'll find that there's a lien. So it's very important that you stay in touch with the pre-closer, because those are the ones that are looking at the deals as they come through. They're examining the title as they come through. And sometimes if the law firm is really busy, they're just basically, going to lunch on their daily basis. There's no urgency on your deal. So you got to sort of be that urgency person. Like, hey, did it come back in yet? Let me check. They need to know that you're ready to close, because sometimes people put a contract in and they don't close on it. They need to know that you're going to follow through on it.
Yeah.
So once you do that, you want to find out the type of lien it is. Is it something do you know what type of lien it is?
A nuisance.
A nuisance lien. A nuisance. That's something that's filed in the court.
Right. City.
So tell me about what you found out about, like a city lien.
Right.
Okay. Okay. So those can be fixed 2 ways right off, because we've went into situations where they've tagged like liens on a property. Maybe they're like code enforcement liens or nuisance lien, things like that. And they know they're going to get paid eventually, so they don't mind tagging it on your property. So what you want to do is, there's a department that handled that. You want to always look at the.
Sorry.
No problem. I see.
Like I was boiling some eggs. I'm sorry.
Let's get you. Don't let the eggs burn. Don't let the eggs burn. We are the real show up in here. This is reality show.
Oh Lord, yes it is. I'm like, wait, what is that smell, Lord?
Don't let the eggs burn.
Mercy. Okay, let me go back in.
Okay, get your protein.
Yes. Okay, there we go.
Okay. So there's an office there's an address on tagged to that lien to where you could basically go down to that office to speed it up, because most of the time the pre-closer or the attorney is not going to go down there, and they usually communicate with them via email, and sometimes the email is wrong, and the communication's off. Probably can't get to them through the phone because everybody's trying to call them. So it may behoove you to go down to the office on your lunch break, get in contact with the person that's over that, and see if you can negotiate that $9,000 and get it lower, because that's going to be a chunk out of the seller's commission as well. And if it's a good enough deal, we've actually aided on some cases if it's a good enough deal, so that
it's not a good enough deal to eat it. because I thought about that. Because actually what I've already done is told the seller to actually contact them himself and see if they'll settle, because that's what we actually got them to settle, because it's a pre-foreclosure. So we got them to go down from $77,000 to $50,000.
50?
So to 50. And so then so now we're getting him to see if they would go down on that 9,800.
Okay. So is the seller going to get something out of this?
He was going to get $5,000, but we trying to see. I don't know now.
Okay.
I mean,
and you have it under contract for how much?
65.
65. So that's going to eat in.
65 for the buyer. Yeah, to the buyer, 65.
Okay, so that's going to definitely eat into what you get. You're giving him 5, then you're paying away your 10 grand.
Right, but what's gonna end up happening is he's not gonna probably get anything out of it. It's depending on how much they're gonna go down. If they can go down to maybe $1,500, then at least everybody will get something out of the deal. But the way it's going, at this point, he just be happy to get this foreclosure off of him. That he don't have that on his record. That's probably all he's gonna end up being able to get, because this has been going on for 2 months now.
Okay. So in this scenario, you want to grab the bull by the horn and basically, do a reality check with them. Like, listen, we're at the end of this. We're trying to avoid this going on your credit. That could be on your credit 7 to 10 years. We're trying to get this cleared and negotiate. Hey, maybe we thought it can get 5,000. We just found this lien. Maybe we can give you a lower amount. Negotiate a lower amount to give him that he's willing to do, because he's getting a big deal done. You guys are solving a big problem for him. You definitely deserve your fee for solving this problem. So negotiate a lower fee with him, and try to negotiate a lower fee with the government as well. So that's going to really be your deal. See, somebody love try to call you when you're alive. So basically, negotiate a deal with him for a lower amount, and sometimes that happens. You're just going to have to do it. And then, so instead of 5,000 that he thought he was going to get, maybe he get 1,500. You know what I mean?
Or that's what it's going to look like. He's at this point. He's been working with us. You know what I'm saying, getting an extension on the contract and everything. So, and he understands everything that's going on, with it and everything. So I don't think that's going to be a problem with lowering that amount, as long as he gets something out of the deal, because he sees it's really, it's a lot of work and it's hard because of all the stuff that's going on here. And he's procrastinated so long. That's why it's like this. It done got into the pre-foreclosure stage, So yeah.
Okay, exactly. So negotiate with him, get that in writing, so that the law firm is going to require you to have that in writing so that they can put it on the settlement, and then get a payoff from the county Like if they're not budging, and
they're like, it's a wrap. Yeah,
yeah,
he ain't getting nothing.
They like to play hardball with you at the cap. So if they're not budging or anything, it may be a scenario. If you want to get it done, you may have to just do that. He may have to just negotiate on his end so we get the deal done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then also I'll go back to the lender and let them know, hey, I'll ask them again, hey, can you we ran into this. Can you lower the amount for me just to see what happens? It may or may not.
Hey, they can't do nothing but say no, right?
Yeah, you know what I mean? We already lowered it from 77. So they are willing to do something like, hey, something else came up. So your job right now is to negotiate with everybody, just get a lower amount one more time. Let them know this one more time.
Okay.
And come back around and see where you are and go ahead and get this thing closed. Get those payoffs from the city, get the letter from him, the amount you agreed on, and shoot a message to the lender and see if we can get it lowered as well. And bring it all together. Let's get this thing closed out.
Yeah, I know, right? Yes, I'm ready.
Yeah. So that's what I would do. That's what I would do immediately. Have you done any of those things yet?
Well, that's in the works with him getting the nuisance down, the 9,800 down. So and he says that we'll know something next week. So
and this is a seller. This is the seller.
Right, the seller.
You may have to step in there because he already knew this was on there. Sometimes they're not always upfront about it. He may have thought it was not going to be tagged onto his property, but he already had an idea. So to speed this up, you need to get in front of him. Like, here, let's go ahead and let's get something set up for you, and I'll talk to them for you to get it done, because you got to put the urgency on there. Sense of urgency. Sense of urgency brings in the currency. Okay.
Right. I think because it was from 2010.
Yeah.
He probably thought, okay, well, it's taken care of, or he probably just thought maybe it's going to disappear or something. I don't know. Yeah. But okay, I definitely will need to reach out to him tomorrow then.
Yeah. Yeah, because you can get this thing closed next week. If you just got to be the urgency one. Don't wait on them to do it, because people drag their feet. I want to get paid. I want to get closed. So if I need to go down there to the office and find out who's in charge, I know the pre-closer's not. I know the attorney's not going to leave and go do it. So I got to get down there and put some feet on the ground somewhere. Somebody got to get down there and grab the bull by the horn so you can get this thing closed within the next 7 days. Especially if you got a cash buyer ready to go. I don't like for money to just be sitting there looking at me.
I know, right?
So go ahead and grab the bull by the horn on this and get it closed out. So I'm excited for you to close this one on out. And I love your story. I love your energy, and I always admire you. Like I said, you're a sister to me, and I love seeing what you're doing. I'm always here to help you as well. So keep me posted on this deal. I'm excited to hear more about
it. Absolutely. I will.
Yeah, and then we might team up on some deals down there. I see you guys doing a great. I got a lot of opportunity down there, so I team up with you on some deals. All right.
Sounds good to me.
All right, well, cool. Well, thank you so much, Leslie, for coming in here and sharing your story. We really appreciate it, as always. Okay.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So if you got to go, let me know. But if you can, stay in there for a moment. We may bring you up a little later.
Yeah. Okay. Well, actually, I do.
I know.
Need to run to go get.
All right. We talked about it. Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye, guys.
All right. See you on the next one. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Wow, what a great story. And you guys as wholesalers, that getting on the contract is just part of the process. Your main goal is to get it to the touchdown, the closing. And there's going to always be some type of challenge that you have to deal with. And the way that you deal with that challenge is going to make the difference in the deal getting closed. Sense of urgency brings in the currency. I've always just basically grabbed the bull by the horns and went all in. Somebody type that in. Sense of urgency, sense of urgency, sense of urgency. Even if you don't know how to spell urgency, type it in the comments. Sense of urgency, sense of urgency. That's what it's about. And it's like you just don't want to wait. You don't want to put all your eggs and count on the seller doing it. It's your job. You got to do it to get the deal done. So I'm excited tonight. We're going to be talking about asset-based properties and how you can get your hands on them, how it works, give you a full breakdown on how it works from someone that does this, that's been in the industry over 20 plus years doing this, lending money. So you're going to get the inside scoop right here with the Cellionaire on the live show tonight. It's going to be live tonight. So without further ado, we're going to bring up our main guest here. All the way from Atlanta, Mr. Dean Tillman. Welcome to the stage.
Antonio, thanks for having me. Happy Thursday to you. We are almost at the weekend, although as real estate investors, we know that really the weekend is just another day. We might slow it down a little bit, but the business doesn't stop.
100%. It never stops, you know? It's like everybody's looking for the weekend and Friday. We're trying to make Friday during the week, and we're trying to create a Friday during the week, but it's just another day.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I will say that in real estate investing, and I come from the corporate world, and in my previous life, I was an engineer and a consultant, and everybody started working at 8 a.m. and worked till whenever. I've learned in real estate investing is sometimes the phone doesn't ring very much before 9 a.m. or sometimes 10 a.m. if you're dealing with people kind of in your geographical area, but it goes until 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. at night sometimes. And then with the advent of working remotely, it's really moved into almost 24/7 these days. So I don't know if we're ever off duty in what we do in real estate.
No, it's never. We're working like doctor's hours in some cases. Like we got to be on call. Like especially in the beginning stages, you could be there with your family and get a call on a deal you've been working on for months, and you just may have to go. You may have to run out. You know, you may be on the phone and the kids kick in the door, and you're like, "Can I get a 1 minute? I mean, let me get this call and I'll be right with you." So it's challenging, especially in the beginning. There's some sacrifices. I was watching an interview with Charles Schwab. And he was saying some of the things that he regretted in the beginning, like he had to sacrifice a lot of the things with his family. And it's unfortunate if at that particular time, but there's going to be some sacrifices made. Hopefully you get to the point where you can balance those things out, but there's going to be some sacrifices in the beginning.
Yeah, and I struggled with that early on. So I'm a hard money lender, a private money lender, but I got into the business as a real estate investor. I've built houses, I've done fix and flips, I've managed over 150 houses. But when I first got into business, I didn't know a whole lot about it. So I'd go to the local RIAs and try to talk to people who'd been doing it for longer than I had.
Yeah.
Which was great for me, but anybody who would listen to me and talk to me, I would talk to them. I was giving my business cards out at McDonald's, and if I'd go to dinner or at a football game, I'd give it out to if they mentioned real estate, I'm giving a business card out and talking about it. And looking back, all those hours and all that time I put into it, I needed to do that because I really needed to learn everything about it.
Yeah.
As I've gotten deeper in my career, I've learned to work more strategically and look at more of the outcomes because there's so much talk of I'm grinding. Grinding can be good for a while, but that doesn't always mean that you're successful. Just feeling that you're putting in the hours, if it doesn't lead to a monetary outcome after a certain point of time, you're just doing it to make yourself feel like you're doing something. And you've got to kind of get past that and work efficiently and have the end goal in mind.
100%. I agree. You're 100% right. A lot of people say it's just this grind mode. And I think you're going to do the most grinding in the first year or two for the most part. But if you're constantly grinding and, having to do that, you're not really effectively putting your resources and energy, because at some mode you should be more career. Like, this is my career. I'm going to scale this. This have worked. Let's put a system in place, implement technology and different things to help you leverage. It should be less of the grind and more of the getting more from the time you put into your business. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. And think about it, years ago when we were first getting into it, there was the internet, but there weren't smartphones. We didn't have apps. We didn't have the technology that we're on right now that make us so much more productive. So that really helps out everyone. And if most of the people keep their full-time job or keep a job or multiple jobs before they say, I'm going to do this 100% of my time, which I highly recommend. When I speak to new investor groups, especially, someone will always ask me, and they'll go, I'm ready to quit my job and be a full-time real estate investor. I say, and they have a good job. And I'll say, don't give up that W-2 job. Try to do both of them. Find a way to make them both work, because there are going to be times with real estate investing that it's going to be very lean. And it's not because of the person doing the investing. It's going to be macroeconomic things, COVID or interest rates or a war. That's not going to impact your ability to be good, but it's going to impact your income. So I always warn people, don't quit your job just because you saw, some show on TV that showed how you make $100,000 on your first deal. Don't do it. Go to Antonio's class for a while, do some deals, and slowly maybe back away from that job.
100%, I agree. 100%, because you got to be somewhat crazy in a way to just do the business full time, because you're going to be pulling so much of not just the resources, but your time and energy, and it's going to have an effect on your psyche, especially if you're just doing this thing full time right out the gates. So you're going to have to be psyched out a lot.
No doubt.
Yeah. So let's talk about you. I mean, you've been doing lending for years. You come highly recommended from some of my top partners that I partnered with in real estate over the years. And we were talking about asset-based buying of properties. And if you can kind of just tell a little bit about yourself, how you got started into this, and basically tell us how that works with asset-based properties, because everybody's trying to buy properties, and you can give us the pros and cons and just how it works overall.
Yeah. So quick, I want to give a shout out to Leslie. I'm from Jacksonville.
Hey, okay.
Jacksonville also, Antonio?
No. I'm from. I was raised. My family's from Jamaica. I was born in Miami, but I was raised in Valdosta, Georgia.
Yeah.
Which is not far from Jacksonville, right on that Georgia-Florida line. So I'm really a country guy at heart. I mean, for the most part, Wildcats, go Wildcats in Lowndes County down there. So yeah.
So I'm from Jacksonville. I've been doing private lending, hard money lending for 20 years. And I was fortunate. I had a friend from high school that was doing it, and he was a former banker. And so he brought me in the business. He had capital already, and he really trained me in how to do it. And I remember, and he said, Dean, I want to open up an Atlanta office, but there are so many crooks and shysters in Atlanta. And this is 2004, 2005. It was the go-go era. It was, people were making money, hand over fist. They really didn't need to know as much about real estate, just because there was always a way to sell a house, because there were liar loans that the people could say, hey, I make $500,000 a year. And they go, okay, well, you can buy this house then.
Yeah.
But I would present some different loan scenarios, and they'd say, no, don't do that. That's mortgage fraud, or that's something, or this and that. So I was fortunate enough to have a backstop behind me for a lot of it. But it's still, I learned that what we do as hard money lenders and private lenders that are truly asset-based lenders is we are the anti-bank. I am not a banker. I have nothing in common with bankers. I don't sit in my office and play with spreadsheets and look at things online. I don't take people to play golf for 3 or 4 months and then tell them I don't like their deal. That's not the way I work. And that's not the way asset-based lenders work. Your credit score, it doesn't matter. And I don't mean it doesn't matter. It does matter in the big scheme of things. But the way I look at deals, it's not based on your credit score.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to look at it. And about 10 years ago, I went back and did a post-mortem, and I've done thousands of loans, mainly in the Southeast US, but throughout the country. And I look back at credit score, and I was collecting tax returns and bank statements and all these documents because that's what we did back then.
Mm-hmm.
And overall, credit score was not necessarily the best indicator of a successful loan. I had clients with credit in the mid 70s that were terrible. Some were great. I had clients with credit scores in the 500s, and they were fantastic. Some were not good either. But I went back and said, I don't know that a credit score is the best indicator. And I did talk to some of my banker associates, friends, and I told them about that, and their head about exploded. They're like, the only thing we know as a bank is to look at credit score.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, for real estate investors, don't you look at the deal? Do they have a good deal? Are they buying it right? Do they have a good contractor working with them and a good realtor? Do they have the team around them to make them a success?
Mm-hmm.
The bankers go, we don't care about any of that stuff. It's just got to fit in our box.
Mm-hmm.
And so that made me think more about it. And I said, I'm really going to exploit this because there's a lot of people out there. And I have a lot of clients from 07, 08 that they had to file bankruptcy. They've had foreclosures. They were not bankable for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And they were some of my best clients. They just got caught at the wrong place at the wrong time when the market shifted. It had nothing to do about their aptitude or their skills as a real estate investor. So I got rid of most of those things. I also preach real world underwriting. If it's in Atlanta, I go by and look at all the houses that I lend on. Mm-hmm. And I look at because you'll get an appraisal done on the property, and I appraise properties too. But appraisal is subjective. I mean, you can make an appraisal say a lot of different things.
Yeah.
But if I drive by a house and it is boarded up, there are weeds up on all the houses around it, and that my client's going to try to buy it, to renovate it, to sell it, I'm going to say no one's going to buy this house and move in with a family. It'd be a great rental house, but not really going to be able to flip it. So, but a bank would look at it and say, well, it appraised at a certain number, and that's got to be a good loan. But that's not real world underwriting. That's not the way these things work. So I tend to look at things more about the asset. I work with first-time investors. A lot of lenders hear first-time investors and they hang up the phone. They find a way to abort the conversation.
That's true.
I listen. I go, okay, you want to be an investor. What have you done to make you want to do this? And I'll talk through it with them. And I guess from doing this a while, I can ask the same questions 2, 3, 4 different ways and see if I have a consistent answer from the person. To understand if they really know what they're doing. And I'll tell you what I found with first timers, they are so worried about losing money and making mistakes. They have all the spreadsheets. They are calling me up every other day. They're calling their contractors. They're at the project all the time. Yep. So what they may lack in experience, they largely make up for it in their diligence. They show up. Whereas my clients I've went to 20 and 30 times who've done 100 deals, they take their eye off the ball. I had a client one time building a house, going to sell for $1.5 million. Nothing was being done on the house. Called him and said, hey, what's going on? It was in Atlanta. He goes, man, I moved out to LA a couple of months ago. Things are going great out here. I'm about to go to the beach. And I'm like, you know that nobody's been on site for this project in 3 weeks. And he's like, well, they sent me pictures. I'm like, yeah, of a different house. Your house, nothing there.
Oh, goodness.
The real experienced people sometimes think they can do no wrong. My first time investors, a lot of times they're spot on. So,
wow.
In a weird direction there. I'm not sure if I
No, you're doing great. I mean, that's really because most of our members here, many of them are new investors, and that's giving them a clear idea of what to expect, what to look for, because most of the time, banks not, just like you mentioned, banks not willing to give them the funding or sit down with them because they have they have like thousands of people they can choose from. And basically they're going to go with whoever's best based on their model at the time they want to go with. Yeah. So I think you're breaking down a lot of the fundamentals and the questions that they have in their head, how it works, asset-based investment.
Yep. Yep. And the way we look at the asset, and I'll get in the weeds a little bit here with you. Mm-hmm. And most of my loans are fix and flip. Someone buys a distressed property, renovates it, sells it. I also lend on new construction projects. I do transactional funding for my wholesalers. So they're going to buy it in the morning and sell it in the afternoon. I lend them money for that. If you own a property free and clear, we do cash out against it. So a few other loans, but I will say most of my loans are kind of fix and flip type loans. Mm-hmm. We lend 85% of that amount. So add up your purchase price, your renovation cost. We lend 85% of that amount. So you put down 15% plus closing costs. So when people come to me to get pre-approved, I give them a somewhat generic pre-approval letter that says they were approved. And they'll say, well, what am I approved for? And I say, well, just remember, you've got to have 15% plus closing costs. Mm-hmm. I stopped, again, asking for financials a lot of the time because people were moving money into an account one day and it was back out of the account the next day. So I just said, hey, we're adults, we're professionals. You're going to need 40,000 to close this loan. You know, you better have it or else you can't close. And I've had some people that say they've got it and they don't have it, and that gets very frustrating. Yeah. But by and large, they do have it. So that's kind of your skin in the game. So you got to have money into it. And I know you may have heard speakers about 100% financing or seen something about it. Yeah. There may be some creative ways to do it, whereas someone else puts up that 15%. I don't necessarily check that, but plan on having some money to put into the deal, either your own or a partner. But it really comes down, what is your exit strategy? Are you going to sell it? Are you going to refinance and keep it as a rental property? I'm doing a loan right now on 5 houses. They are going to buy them. After about a year, they're going to tear it down and put a multifamily building on it. So my exit, and that's what I've got to think about. How am I getting paid back? Mm-hmm. In that situation, they're getting a construction loan from a large institutional lender to pay off my bridge loan because they've got to close by July 31st. So, and it gets back to the asset. You know, I feel comfortable with the asset. I feel comfortable with the people, so I lend on it.
Wow, that's powerful. You mentioned some very important and critical things, like you do transactional funding. Your primary investment is fix and flips. So if you can tell me and I know what it is, like transactional funding, if you can break that down and also break down the fix and flips, because most of our guys, like, they may want to keep that and refinance it. So you also mentioned that you also you do those as well, where they can refinance it out if they want to keep it. How does each one of those work?
Yeah. And you'll find as you get more experience, you may start off with one approach and get comfortable with it, but then you realize there's another deal. If I take my fix and flip hat off and wear another hat, I can make money doing a different thing. So you'll end up having a number of tools in your tool belt you can use. Mm-hmm. So transactional funding, let's say you're going to buy a house for $80,000 in the morning, and that's called the A to B contract. So you have that under contract to buy it. In the afternoon, you're going to sell it for $100,000. So that's the B to C contract. So you're going to buy it, you have your seller identified, and you're going to sell it on the same day. So I will lend you the $80,000. I'll lend all of that. Here's $80,000. I wire the money to the closing attorney. You buy it, you sell it. The end buyer has the $100,000 there. I get my $80,000 plus a small fee, and you keep the difference. So that's meant for wholesalers that are going to be kind of in and out of deals in the same day. It's not meant to buy it and then go find a buyer 3 or 4 months later. It's really, you've got to have the whole transaction set up. And there's moving parts with that. And oftentimes it comes right before the foreclosure date. And so someone's got a property, the person's being foreclosed on, they need to close quickly, and then they've got another buyer lined up within days. So we have to move really quickly on those. But that's something that we're doing a pretty good bit of, and we can do those for the $80,000 transactions and the $2 million transactions. But it's just important you have that end buyer lined up for that one. My fee for that is 1.75% of that first transaction. And so that's what you pay, and then everything else is yours. But the big thing is you come in with none of your own money. So that's a little bit different than what I said about the fix and flip. Because it's really, for me, it's more of an exercise in sending wires.
Yeah.
Although, as a quick aside, someone called me last week from St. Augustine, had a deal in Jacksonville. They were buying it for 75 and selling it for 110. Transactional funding they called me for. I go, that's great. We can do it. Supposed to close 2 days before the phone call. The person was a little scattered on the phone, which that's okay. But I said, who is the title company? They gave me the name of the title company, the contact there. I said, send me the contracts, which they did. I went and if it's a title company I'm not used to, I'll do a little bit of research. Well, I researched that title company. There was no title company in the state of Florida in St. Augustine with that name. So I researched the state of Florida corporate database for that title company's name.
Yep.
I see that company had been dissolved. And I opened it up and I go, the email to the person at the title company is the email of the so-called investor that had just called me for transactional funding. He was a total scam job. He wanted me to wire 75 grand to this fictitious title company that he sent me the instructions for.
Wow.
Googled him, found him on Bigger Pockets, and had his name, fraudster. 3 pages of deals. He had taken one lender for 500 grand, another lender for 200 grand.
Wow.
He was getting off a cruise in Cape Canaveral about 6 weeks ago. FBI was waiting for him, arrested him.
Yeah.
He got the next day on $250,000 bond, and he was hitting me up. He was keeping the game up.
Dang, he just learned.
Apparently, he had a massive gambling problem and was on drugs. And so,
wow,
that was a real aside. I feel very confident no one on this call is going to approach me for that type of transactional funding deal. But don't believe everything you hear, I guess, in real estate is maybe the point of that one.
Wow, that's powerful. So, guys, you guys are out there getting so much content that you're not going to hear regularly, because guys like this are like highly protected by the real investors out there. They don't want their information getting out. Like, this is who we use. I know Cam is asking if you can go deeper into transactional funding. You may have answered the question, but if you guys in the house, I want you to type in a big thank you right now for our guest, because he's sharing so much fundamental stuff. And with me doing this for so many years, I can appreciate it. I'm like, he's given the game and the content right now, because I remember doing a transactional funding years ago with the property we were buying from it was an auction that I had won the auction. And I was like, well, dang, how am I going to get this deal done? Because you got to have the money buying these from an auction. I won the auction, not thinking I was going to win it, but I won it. Oh, wow. I had to team up with a transactional funding guy to get that property, and then have the attorney on the buyer's end come in and resolve it on their end. So that turned into a deal that actually saved the day. Transactional funding. And some of you guys are wholesalers like Cam. So transactional funding is just like he was mentioning, where you come in and fund the deal. They charge you a small percentage of that deal. So it's actually like they're just coming in and being the bank, charging a small percentage. You win in the deal, and your end buyer gets the property right after that, just like he explained. There we go. Cam said, thanks for the explanation. Yeah, I figured you had got to it. We got Ernest in there. Thank you, Mr. Dean Tillman. Yeah. Good game. Cam is in there. Great stuff. Larry Hall, great content. So yeah, this you really bring a lot of great content. So the next two you mentioned, they need to have an exit strategy, and that's what I really try to tell members. Always have an exit strategy with the property in the beginning. Like you're gonna always want to know, like, what are you gonna do with this? You want to keep it for your portfolio, because going into this, we may use this for a short term for you to rebuild the property. But if you want to keep it, you're probably gonna have to refinance it and get the lender paid so you can move on to another one. So how does that work?
Yeah, and we offer, it's called a DSCR loan, DSCR, which stands for debt service coverage ratio. Now, those are more institutional products. So I have some institutional groups that I work with to do those types of loans. Those are a little bit different. I can close a loan in 2 weeks because it's in-house private lending. Those are more 30-year loans for investors keeping rental properties. Those do have a credit score component, typically around 660, 680, but primarily they look at what your rent is going to be, and they're going to look at what your mortgage, your property taxes, and your insurance are going to be, and look at how profitable that will be once you have the loan in place, and give you a 30-year loan. I quoted one today at 7.1%. and another one at 7.3% for 30-year term. So those are great rates for something like that. And what can happen though is you may get into a property with the intent to sell it, and you may go, you know what, this is in a really good neighborhood. I could make 30 grand today, but I can also rent it for 1,500 a month, and my mortgage is 750. And I know they're building a new manufacturing plant for Hyundai about 5 miles away in a couple of years. So that rent is going to only go up. It's only going to appreciate over time. Instead of selling it, I want to refinance and just keep that property. Mm-hmm. And that's very often what happens to some of my clients. They go in with one strategy. Midway through, they go, well, I'm going to do this strategy. Only problem midway through, if you're renovating it to flip it, you'll probably put higher graded finishes in it than a rental property you would have. You probably would have put carpet in there versus the nice hardwoods, and maybe not the nice granite countertops. But we see that as an exit strategy. We also have people that are buying properties solely for the intent of holding them as rental properties. Mm-hmm. Those are typically 75 to 80% loan to value. So you put down a little bit more for those type of properties. But we can do that too. We can do just plain rental property loans if you find a great deal out there. And that's how early on, I had a number of rental properties and I was managing them for other people. Mm-hmm. I got tired of people missing rent and flushing diapers down the toilet, and my plumber's going back out there. And then every couple of years, it seems with renters, and I'm not trying to discourage you, but I want to be real.
Yeah, you're real.
A new story about why they can't pay rent. And this is going to sound bad, but this actually happened. For about a 6-month period, every landlord I know, their renters said they had a family member that died and they had to pay for a funeral. And it sounds terrible, but it literally was kind of making the rounds in Atlanta. And we kind of realized that was the story that was going around. And every few years, there'd be some new story. I got tired of it. So I got rid of all my rental properties a while ago. Yep. I'll probably get back into it because it's a great way to have generational wealth, pass them down to your kids. Just picking up one rental house a year. After 10 years, you've got 10 houses, and that's a nice retirement income that you have right there.
Powerful. 100%. I mean, you're dropping so much game right here, especially for a lot of the new members. They're hearing this and they're like, I could hear the balloons popping in their head, like boom, 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 boom. That answered my question, right there. And you mentioned so do you do the types of loan? I know you primarily focus on fix and flips, transactional funding, but you do 30-year loans as well?
Yeah, those loans are like your mortgage that you would have for your primary house, in that you get a loan, they typically bundle them up and they securitize them and they sell them. So it's an institutional product. So I don't do the wire in-house. I have some different kind of Wall Street money sources that I go to and do my loans through them, and then they package them up and they sell them. So there's a little bit more complexity. They're going to want to see that you have enough money, probably for 6 months reserve payments. They're going to look at your credit score, like I mentioned. But it's not as difficult as getting your own home loan that you're going to live in. So we mainly orchestrate that and have another group fund those for us.
Wow, that's awesome. And I think the third one we talked about transactional funding. We talked about the fix and flip, how that works. The third one, the
cash out,
the cash outs. Yes.
Yeah. I get a lot of phone calls for cash out loans in March. And I wish we were in person, because I'd ask the question, why is that? And the reason, I'll give you the answer. Taxes are, unless you file an extension, which I think most people do these days anyway, but if you pay them on April 15th, you get your taxes and go, oh no, I don't have the money to pay that tax bill, but I have this rental house that's worth $100,000 over here, and I need, $30,000 to pay my taxes. And so I'll do them a loan against it. It's a 12-month loan, which all of my fix and flip, new construction, and cash out loans, they're all 12 months. I basically appraise it, whatever it's worth, 50% of that, but maybe 55%. There's your money. Just pay me back in a year. So I get a lot for taxes. I get a lot of investors who have a number of properties, but they need cash to buy another one, and they don't want to go through the fix and flip loan process. They're like, hey, this house is worth $500,000. I'm buying a house for $100,000. So I'll give them, whatever they need for it. They're going to fix and flip that one, sell it, and pay back my other loan. So it's all it is an appraisal. I'll lend 50% of the value on that. You can go to Vegas with the money. You can buy crypto, like you were talking about earlier. Antonio, I know nothing about it. Those are way smarter people than I do. I would lose my shirt if I did that. So you can go buy crypto. I had a client. This is another story. This is in Jacksonville Beach on Penman Road. Leslie, if you're still on. Guy calls me up. He runs the company at the beach. They've got the water things where you put the boots on and shoot you up in the air.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So he owned a house free and clear. And he needed money to invest in his company, to buy more equipment. He was going to go down to some other city. So I lent him the money for it. Appraised it for $200, and I think I gave him $100, lent him $100 on it. Pay and buy other equipment. I've got an SBA loan that's going to kind of consolidate all of this. And so we get about 9 months into it. He's paying me every month, no problem. And I'm like, hey, how we look into that SBA loan? Long pause. As a lender, you never want to hear a long pause.
Not the pause.
He goes, Dean, I went and took the money, a bunch of it, and bought a bunch of crypto, and crypto sank. And I'm like,
yeah.
He had a mentor who's not like you. He had a mentor that put him into some crypto that was not a good investment. Yeah. But they had a way to work it out. If I could lend him a little bit more money against that property, he could work it out, which I subsequently said no to. And he found a way out of it. But so I can lend you 50%. You can do whatever you want with it. If you're going to buy crypto with it, don't tell me. I don't want to hear it.
Because the thing about it is you're protecting your money as well, because you got the lien on the property. You're going to get your funds back, but it's up to them how they're going to invest it.
and that's it. So I have a lien on the property. So my worst case scenario, if everything goes south, I have to foreclose on that property. I rarely do it. I don't like doing it. There are some lenders that do something called loan to own. And if you ask around, you'll find out they will lend you money thinking you're somewhat of a sucker, and they're going to foreclose on you as soon as you're a day late on your payments. We don't see that as much these days, but we did about 5-10 years ago. I don't want to foreclose. I do anything to try to work it out with them. But if that's all I can do, I have to foreclose, and my loan's at 50% of value. So somebody's probably going to bite on the courthouse steps is what's going to happen in that scenario.
Yeah. Wow. We really just dove in tonight. This can be like a course by itself on how money works with how money works 101 here in real estate investing, because we touched on the main points where what people want to do. They either want to keep the property, get transactional funding, fix and flip. They want to have an exit strategy, or they want to keep it or refinance. So we've touched on pretty much all those points. Is there like anything else that you can think of that can help like new investors going into investing now?
Yeah, a few things. Try to hit singles. Don't swing for the fence. Don't go for home runs, especially when you're starting. Just hit singles. Eventually, over time, you'll get a double, a triple, maybe you'll get a home run. But if you're going for that one home run right off the bat, very rare is that going to happen. Walk before you run. Mm-hmm. The other thing is, at some point, you're going to need to take that step. You're going to educate yourself, and you're going to learn as much as you can learn, but you're going to have to take that step, put a contract on a property, be it wholesaling or whatever you're going to do. Don't be afraid to do it. We've all been through that on our first deal, and we're like, I don't know about this. It's great hearing about how these other people do it and everything, but I don't know if I really can do it. Once you go through this course and you talk to other people that have done it, and you have a backstop with other friends who are in the industry, talk through that with them. That's going to give you that confidence to go, you know what? I'm ready to do it. And what's the worst thing that can happen? You might break even, but that's going to be some of the best experience you can ever do. Is if you break even, realistically, you're going to make some money. But you're going to find out that contractor who gave you that quote up front really gave you a lowball bid to get the work, and it's really going to cost 20% more. You're going to find the contractor you give $5,000 to start the project, and then he leaves and turns his phone off, and you never can reach him again. You're going to find out that a war in Ukraine affects the power supply in Europe, which affects the making of steel, which affects the prices of steel over in the U.S., which affects the how that it really things are very much related globally that you wouldn't have, I haven't thought of, that you wouldn't think of, that may make you worried. But at some point, once you go out and do it and you find out, wow, I can do this, you will gain so much confidence out of it. So I guess what I'm saying is, don't educate yourself to educate yourself. Educate yourself to further yourself financially. Take that step.
100%. So much game. This is game night. So that's what we're going to call this. This is game night. So if you guys getting really good content here, and like you guys, I see you guys saying thank you, Dean, in here. Calvin said thank you for that, because this is where a lot of them are. I mean, they want to know how the money works. And you're just cracking the code with them tonight and just showing them step by step how it works. So I want you guys again just thank our guest, because he's taking the time to drop his knowledge in here with you and give you an expertise from years of experience as well, and just basically tell you how it is with no fluff. He's giving you the game tonight. So drop a game night in the comments. Game night. It's game night. It's game night. And just thank our guests. Thank our guests tonight. You're getting a lot of thanks in there. Big Ernest said thank you.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. And I don't know, is my contact information, I don't know if you send it out.
Yes, we see your contact info there. Great. And we're going to be talking with you more, because we talked about how we can help our members as well get funding. So I'll be reaching out to you as well with some of our members, and even to help them out, because some are all in these three categories. Either they're trying to do a fix and flip, they're trying to do transactional funding, or they're trying to get their first rental property or more rental properties. And this is a major game show tonight. Everybody's like, hey, Cam said game night. I like that.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'd love to work with all you guys. I love educating people and war gaming stuff out. And I tell horror stories not to scare you, but just to be realistic with things. And
100%.
I hope you take that the right. There's a lot of great things in real estate, but go in with your eyes wide open.
Yeah, 100%. If you can, for a quick moment, our guy, Big Yun, he's one of our coaches in the membership, and he's here. He's an international guy. He's from Venezuela, his wife, Colombia. And I'm sure he had a quick question for you as well. How you doing? He's the Rock. Are you doing the Zoom in?
I see that.
Yes.
What's up, my guy?
Hey, how you doing?
How you feeling, the Rock over there? What kind? Are you getting a game tonight? You smell what's cooking?
You can smell what in real estate we're cooking. No, I mean, I'm sorry I got late, but Dean, thank you so much for all your information. You're right. It's always good to tell people the story, not to really scare you, it just to kind of give you the reality, right? And that this is not this is serious. You got to put some skin in the game when you're doing this, asking loans. They're going to ask you for 10, 15, and 20% down, and do your due diligence right. And the fact that you can have the X always coming in with the X strategy. I work with other private lenders, and trust me, some of them are right now. They have to drop their price just because they're not selling. They're making payments. One thing I tell investors is like, do your numbers right, because the only winner here is going to be your lender and your real estate agent. So make sure you do your number, and the contractor. So make sure you do your numbers right. But phenomenal information. I think the best thing that Mr. Dean was saying is make sure that you know your numbers, make sure you know your X strategy, and then because it could be, horror nights. It could help you. It's a great tool. Private funding, O.P.A, other companies' money. But if you're not financially educated in terms of knowing exactly your numbers, it could become a horror movie.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, and I'll say on that real quick. I will be bluntly honest. If I tell you I think you've got a bad deal, and that maybe the wholesaler was selling you a bill of goods, that the ARV is not up here, it's really here, and that the cost of repairs is a lot more. I'm not trying to do loans. I'm trying to get paid back. I'm not a lender. I'm a get paid backer. So until my loan gets paid back, it's a 5-year-old could go lend money. It's knowing, as an investor, I look at deals. So I look at, am I going to get paid back with this? Yeah. So if I think there are some flaws in that deal, I'm going to tell you, and you can rebut me. I'm not always right either. You can rebut me and go, well, have you thought about this, this, and this? And I'll go, no, you're right, actually, also. Mm-hmm. But there could be some hard conversations we have, and it's not that often. But I'm not, I don't shy away from that, because you need to hear that.
You're right, because a lot of people get excited. This industry could be a novelty for people. It could be just an investment, they don't do this for a living. So it's always good as a private lender to basically, act like if you were, it's your money as well there, as a company. And just to, be able to coach the borrower. Okay, have you thought about this? Have you looked at this? Did you, for example, there's lenders out there that they don't do, there's private lenders that they don't do flood zone, for example, or any kind of house that there's an eyesores, nearby. You have to think about all those things that most of these new fix and flips, they don't see it. They just want to buy it ugly and make it pretty, sell it, and wow. It's like, yes, but there's a lot more than that, Yep. There's a lot more than that. But yeah, you're right. It's just basically being real. If the numbers work, the property works. I'm sure that we can spend hours talking about different scenarios where, for example, you're a private lender and everything going smooth, and then you get your borrower saying, Mr. Dean, I just got something on the door that says stop work order. Oh.
That could happen.
Wow.
I get those sometimes, or I get a letter from a materials contractor because they put a lien on the house because my client didn't pay the lumber bill. So back to the beginning, talking about the nuisance lien, they can put a materialman's lien on the property because my borrower didn't pay for the lumber, and that happens. And so I call up and go, hey, I can't give you any more money for repairs until that gets paid. And so stop work order, any kind of liens. I've had houses caught on fire and burned down. There's a lot of phone calls I don't like getting, but fortunately, they don't happen very often.
Yeah, well, so that's awesome.
Good information. But I'm sure anybody here in the team that I'm sure they will have private funding. You have to go through the guidelines process. I'm sure Mr. Dean has a number of procedures that you have to do in order to get that loan for that particular property. But hey, it's a great tool to have, man. Private funding I mean, Tony, you and I made really good money. I mean, I used private funding for a long time.
Yeah, 100%. Well, thank you so much, Big Young, for hopping in here as well, because you're right. I mean, if you don't have a lender that's going to look at your deal and give you constructive criticism as well, that's an extra layer of confidence buying the deal, because they're not going to lend if they can't get their money back. And then you don't want to invest in it if they're not willing to invest in it. So
the hard money lender is your best friend, because I had to raise money. So I am telling the investors in my company what I'm going to do to protect them. And so I don't want to lose. I'm not Bank of America or Wells Fargo where I've just got all this money laying around. And so the constructive criticism that you said, it's constructive how I present it. But if we can be on the same page, and really any other private lenders, most of them are going to take the same approach. The advice they give you is usually in your best interest. So listen to them.
100%. And the more deals that you do and the more relationship that you build, the more money, and they'll trust you on those deals. So, build a relationship. So guys, if you're already a member, we put together a program. If you go to the comment section, there's a questionnaire you can fill out. We're going to be sending it over to Dean. Take a look if you're looking to get some funding. We have that. You can complete that inside of the comment section. And he's just dropped so much content tonight. I mean, like I said, this can be a program on its own, because these are the questions everybody's asking when they want to get into real estate. How can I get some money? So thank you so much again, Mr. Dean, for coming in here and sharing your expertise. And we look forward to working with you more in the future as well. So thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Mr. Dean. Thank you.
All right, guys. So, wow, we dropped the heat tonight. I mean, that was a heck of a show for tonight. I mean, and also your members, you also have contact information. I think he had it on his screen as well. But we got to make him a big part of our team, because a lot of you guys have those questions all the time, and you'll be able to speak directly with them. We have money guys on our team. Like if you need transactional funding, if you need the money for that next rental property, some money, just like you say, for your taxes or whatever, you have a house paid off, we can take a look at it. So if you're already a member, you already have access to our network. Shoot a comment in there. If you need his contact information, we'll connect you with that as well, because you're already a member. So I'm excited tonight. So if we brought the heat tonight, I want you to drop in there. It's game night, game night, game night, game night. Yes, yes, yes. And it's not even Friday yet. Ernest said, yes, I have his info. Yes, perfect. So yeah, it's game night. There we go. There we go. It's game night. It's game night. It's game night. Game night. Yes, yes. Thank you, Dean. Thank you, Dean. Yeah, y'all showing so much love to the guest tonight. I mean, he definitely deserve it. He's dropped his email in there as well. You guys can feel free to email him directly at the email that's in the comment section. Ernest says game night. Larry Hall says game night. So that's what we like to do. We like to bring in real people that can really help you win in the game, and that's what it's about. So make sure if you're not registered yet for next Tuesday night's call, it's coming up and next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, if you're a member already, we have a mastermind coming up next Wednesday, and make sure you register for that as well. And stay connected. Let's stay connected. We're coming up on the weekend, and remember, your off time is your go time, and your work time is your work time, but your off time is your go time. That's where you focus on building your business, finding your assets, and finding out ways like we did tonight on how you can start building wealth for yourself, your personal economy. Your personal economy matters. No matter who becomes the president, it's more than likely it's not going to reach you. You're responsible for your own personal economy, guys. So focus on that on your off time as well. So until the next call, I ask for the money. And then when you ask for the money and you get the money, you celebrate and throw it up, throw it up, throw it up, just like that. So throw it up, throw it up, throw it up, just like that. And we will see you guys next Tuesday night on the call. So, until then, see you guys next Tuesday.
I'm brand new. Matter of fact, I just found my first renter last Thursday after sweating a whole bunch of bullets on a house that I closed on the end of April. And I guess I'll say I joined this group because, you know, Tony has helped me get started and go on the way. And my ambition is to start a real estate business, not just buy houses. And my goal is to be able to retire early. So I love the term mailbox money. I've never heard that before. I think I heard you say that a couple of times, Tony. So yeah, that's my goal. I want a whole bunch of mailbox money. I want the mailbox full. Cause you know, this work thing is not, I don't see myself going another 25 years or so, which is when I officially would retire. So yeah, nice to meet everyone. I guess I'll just be listening because all I got is newbie stuff to contribute. Newbie mistakes.
I mean, I'm so proud of you because you came into the game and you talked about what you were going to get, came in, saw it, and you conquered it. You got your new project, you finished it, and you got a renter. So that's huge. So congratulations on that. New
Thanks.
On the way.
Yes, I even have to go find the mailbox. UPS. Yes.